flashy bike that you'll be wanting for your road trips then. How did you guess? He grinned. She screwed up her nose at him. Just a hunch. I don't suppose I could get a lift back on a coach, could I, Sal? A taxi is going to cost me a small fortune, Nick pointed out. Well, Sal began, seemingly unsure, but then adding with a smile, go on then, seeing as it's you. You're a brick, Sal, Mick said, throwing an arm around her shoulder. Okay, chop chop girls, plane's due to land any time now. You and you, Sal said, pointing to three of the girls when they reached the desk. You three come meet and greet the guests at the arrival door, and the rest of you can find the coaches for me. Nick widened his eyes at her. Very assertive, Sal. You almost sound as if you know what you're doing. She pulled her face at him. Do you want that lift back to Isles, Nick, or not? He cringed. Okay, I'll shut up now. She nodded. Wise. The crowds of reps dispersed and went back to their duties, leaving one girl standing by the desk with a lost, bewildered look. Oh, hello, Sal smiled at her. You must be new. Sally Fitzroy Smith, she said, holding out her hand. The girl looked back blankly at Sal with terrified eyes. And you are, Sal prompted her. I'm here to do a transfer, the girl said in a small voice. Sal's eyes swung to Nick's as he stood there smirking. Yes, I'd gathered that, but I was just wondering what your name was, Sal asked with a touch of impatience. Oh, the girl looked mortified. My name is Frida. My dad is German, she said quickly, feeling that she should justify the name. Nick chuckled to himself, and Sal turned to him with a frown, kicking him under the counter. Well, Frida, why don't you go to the arrivals with the other girls, and they'll show you how to greet the guests, Sal suggested. Frida looked a little panic-stricken, and Sal pointed to the entrance doors, encouraging her to go. It's over there, don't worry. Frida left reluctantly, and Nick burst into laughter as she went. Good luck with her, Sal. Sal groaned. Do you really think she's capable of doing the transfer, Adam? What were you thinking? She said to an invisible Adam. Sal, I think you may have finally lost your mind. I'm Nick, remember, not Adam, he teased. Oh, shut up, stupid. I wasn't talking to you. She came back. As if I haven't got enough on my plate. Why don't you go and sit over there somewhere until the coach is ready to leave? Okay. You got out of bed on the wrong side this morning, he said over his shoulder as he moved away. She rolled her eyes at him, but smiled afterwards. She really was glad to see him again. Several minutes later, the guests began to come trickling out of the arrivals door towards the desks and coaches. Sal directed the lost tourists to the correct coach numbers and filled in the forms for the people who had decided to make their own way to their hotels and apartments. Nick sat on a seat outside the airport opposite desk 8 and watched Sal with amused interest. Well, what do you know? She's not half bad at this. Sal glanced at her watch and calculated that the next flight of guests from Manchester would be landing in 10 minutes. She then had a difficult decision to make. Should she send the already half-filled coaches from the Gatwick flight off the resorts, or should she wait for the Manchester flight to land and finish filling the coaches with the passengers as well? It would be at least another 15 minutes, maybe more, until the Manchester guests came out of the airport. Could she get away with making the Gatwick passengers wait? If so, it would save Adam the extra expense of making the coaches return to the airport for a second time. As Sal stood there contemplating what to do next, watched her and chuckled to himself before straightening his face and turning away when Sal noticed that he had seen her stumble. She narrowed her eyes at him suspiciously and strolled towards the airport, past the chair